Hey y'all, welcome to Crystal's Den. I'm Crystal and I'm so excited you're here with me today. So, as you can see, I have already kind of gone through a little name change. I'm still experimenting with names, but I sent over my previous name, Crystal's Den and Garden, to my friend Alexis, and she was suggested kind of like condensing it a bit, and so she helped me come up with the name Crystal's Den, which I like so far because like this is my den and this is where I'll be doing a lot of talking, but then also I'll be in the garden, and then you know, garden is D-E-N, so yeah, so shout out to Alexis, thank you girl for that. And yeah, so we're gonna try that name out. Okay, so I wanted this first video to be about composting, and just like a little intro guide into like what composting is, the benefits of it, and how you can get started, and then just a little bit about how I have been composting and like, you know, the good things it's done for me. So what is composting? Essentially, composting is the breakdown of organic matter, and when we put in the right conditions, give it the right TLC, and mix in the right materials, it'll eventually break down into this like wonderful soil that we can use in our gardens or just use to replenish the earth. Now, how did I get started? So I had been working a job, and one of the things we were doing at the job was composting. And before, like, you know, for a brief moment, my mom had composted, but she stopped. I'm not sure why. I should ask her. So like we were doing it a little bit, but it wasn't like something that we continued to do. And so I really didn't have another introduction, or like, I guess I wasn't really doing it again until I worked this job. And so I was composting at the job, and I was like, oh wow, like look at all the shit we can just compost, you know? And like I already had seen myself as an eco person, but like composting, I felt like just like kind of elevated that like idea of like, oh my god, like okay, I can't just be throwing away, like, you know, I can't just be recycling stuff or like reusing shit. I have to also be composting. And so when I moved into my place, which is this place, this is actually my grandmother's house. She died a couple years ago, and then I bought the house a couple months after she died. I basically started composting, and I was a little hesitant at first because the number one thing I was like was, what the fuck, like I don't want a bunch of trash just sitting here and then like fucking bugs and like rats and shit coming. But once I read up on it and realized, oh, there's a certain process that you do, and it helps like that stuff stay away, and then everything's cool and it breaks down, it's wonderful. I was like yeah, and you know, the rest is history. So I've been composting for about 2 years now. The method that I use and that I'm going to show you is essentially one where I actually look, it has a name, it's called like trenching or burying it on the ground or some shit. I'm going to find the name and then figure it and tell you, but it's essentially burying it in the ground. And I even like, whenever I like had like on Pinterest looked up like composting, you know, and there was this wonderful article that I'll link because that shit helped me. And it was just like, yeah, just bury that shit, you know? And I was like, oh, fuck yeah, that sounds easy, you know? Because, like, you just see so many different, like, bins and all that shit. And, like, I did try a bin at once, but it just didn't work that well for me. Burying has worked the best for me, and I feel like it's like, an immediate, like nourishment and, like, regeneration for the earth. So, yeah, so that's, like, the method I've been using. So I will show you what that looks like and how you can best take advantage of that if you have yard space. But let's talk about like the benefits of composting. So why am I so like gung-ho about it? Well, first of all, the waste reduction. Like, bro, the amount of waste that I like, the amount of less trash that I'm putting in the trash can, which then is going off in the landfill, is like drastic. Like, I have a roommate now, but even before I had my roommate, and even now with him, like, we have one trash bag that probably goes out once a week, and that's with trash coming from our rooms, coming from the bathrooms, and coming from the kitchen. The rest of the stuff that we have is being composted or is being recycled. And like, especially if you live with like a lot of people, if you have kids, like, you know, you just have like a lot of trash that you're putting out. Whenever you're able to compost it, that's less trash in the trash can, and like less like worry about, oh my god, like both of our bins are full and like the trash can people are coming soon, like, you know, like, it's like the waste reduction is phenomenal. Another beneficial aspect of composting is just the fact that it benefits the earth. I mean, we live on this planet. Humans have already fucked shit up so much, and so the fact that like we can do this one little thing of like, instead of putting our trash out in landfills or, you know, throwing it on whatever, but like putting that waste in the ground and like allowing it to break down and become this great nutrient rich soil, which is then going to like replenish the earth and rejuvenate and make it feel so good, you know what I'm saying? So like, it's just, I mean, that's like the green lover, tree hugger in me, but it's just like, if we can like give the earth something, give her back what was already hers, and just like feed her in a way that's going to be beneficial, then like, why the fuck not, you know? And then like, just like another great benefit, I mean, there's so many, but the one I'll end on is just the way it's just so like great for the garden. Like when you talk about leveling up, baby, compost is gonna level up your garden. You like, when I first started composting, and okay, a little aside, when I was composting, there was this area in my yard where I started compost, and that area did not have that much grass. So I had went on this trip to Russia for like a professional development thing. I was there for 6 weeks. When I came back, that whole area was grassy, and I was like, where the fuck is my compost pile? It was covered in grass because it had grown from like me composting all those months. And so like, seeing that, I was like, what the hell? So then I like had some pumpkin seeds, and then that's when I grew my pumpkins, and I literally used my compost. The next day them bitches grew up. Y'all, I need to be better before and after pictures for these. With my rose bushes, oh my god, the rose bushes out there, they were about to be dead. I put that compost up in there, you know, put it in the ground, pat it all up, bitch, them leaves was green, the motherfucking, okay, maybe not the next day, but like gradually it got more green, and now they're alive. So like, when you talk about leveling up, like, you're literally being like, here baby, get some food, and they're like, yes, thank you. And so like, just having that, it's like, I mean, it's fertilizer essentially. So just having that natural like fertilizer that you made from your own waste, bitch, it's lit. Hey, I kind of switched it up on you, didn't I? Okay, so it's a new day for me, so that's why I got my different shirt on. Also, it's the first day of Black History Month, and then my pin says Black Girls Matter. So happy Black History Month. Send a black person in your life some money today. All right, y'all, so back to composting. So when I first started composting, I just thought that I could just like put my scraps outside and that'd be enough, but that is not the key. There's definitely like components of composting and like ingredients almost, so it's important that we have like the right consistencies. So the colors of compost, we'll call them, are going to be green and brown. So our green material is going to be nitrogen rich, it's going to have nitrogen in it, and our brown material is going to be carbon rich. Nitrogen, carbon, H2O, and oxygen, so like air, these are all like important ingredients to compost. Okay, when I was first starting out, I was only putting in green material / nitrogen filled material. Now the green material is going to be stuff like it's going to be like our wetter material, so food scraps, and like grass clippings from when you cut the grass, stuff like that. And then our dry material is going to be the brown stuff, so the carbon filled stuff. So that's going to be leaves, wood chips, sawdust, paper, things, cardboard, things like that. So it's important that we have a good mix of both, because they are basically going to like help each other in terms of like breaking down and like, you know, having the like right consistency. If you have too much wet material, then it's going to like be harder for the compost to actually like form, because it's just gonna be like a bunch of like broken down old like food scraps and shit. Whereas when you add in like the leaves and stuff, they're able to mix together to kind of like break down in a better fashion, so then you have better soil. I just wanted to kind of like give that understanding of brown and green, because it's important that you have both. Like if you want the stuff to break down in an efficient way, and for you to have like the best like possible scenario, it's important to have both. Okay, so what exactly can we compost? So moldy fruits and veggies, always a good one. And then also just the scraps from them. So I say moldy fruits and veggies because I'm someone who unfortunately will buy like fruits and vegetables and then sometimes don't eat them all and they go bad. Perfect for the compost. And it also helps me not feel so bad about wasting food because I'm like, well, I'm not really wasting it because it's going in the compost. But I am trying to be better because like I should be eating it, not like fucking throwing away whole fucking avocados and shit. But yeah. Now I put a question mark next to citrus. Why did I do that? Because technically citrus is like super acidic and apparently not so good for worms. Now up until recently I had been actually composting like my oranges, lime peels, lemon peels, like grapefruit, shit like that. I was composting it all. But then like reading up a bit more, I was like, ooh, I probably shouldn't be doing that. Not so good for the worms. I still have good worms. And I think it's like one of those things that's like in moderation. So, do a little bit more research on that and compost citrus at your own risk. What else? Coffee grounds and tea bags. Always good. Coffee grounds are really good for roses, by the way. Tea bags, take off that staple, throw it up in there. Perfect. And then eggshells are also good for roses and also great for compost. They have calcium in them. Don't have the yolk, just like, you know, once you crack the egg, throw the shell in the compost. Really great, always great, please add. So any nuts or seed shells, throw them up in there. Breads, grains, pastas. So with the breads, grains, and pastas, with your bread, make sure it's like torn up. So I'm going to talk about this with like the dry material later too. An important aspect of compost is that like, you know, we want the material to kind of be like as small as possible. Now, some people like will like blend their like scraps together. I don't be doing all that. I just throw it up in there. But if it's like a piece of bread, I will go ahead and break that up just because like I want it to like break down quicker. And then wine and beer, right? I know, right? Like, yeah, I was actually on Twitter and I'm forgetting her at, but I'm gonna tag them. They were like, yeah, you can compost wine. I was like, what the fuck? And then like I looked it up a little bit more too, and like, yeah, beer and wine can be composted. It's great for like it adds and like it's good for like it helps with the decomposition process. So breaking all that shit down. So yeah. So these are gonna be like our green things, our wet things, like the common kind of like kitchen scraps that you're gonna like have in your kitchen or be using. Go ahead, throw all of that in the compost. So we've gone through those like common kitchen scraps or our green material. Now let's look at some like brown or dry like things, but are also things that you can find around your house and put up into the compost. So paper-based Q-tips, not the plastic ones, but the ones that like are like basically white and like made from paper. Throw them up in the compost. And also uncoated paper products, so like toilet paper, paper towels, napkins, tissues, the rolls that they come on, all of that can go in the compost. Paper, so tear it up really good, just so that like it'll help it break down. If it's not torn up as well, then it's not gonna like break down as easily. Also worms are our good friends. They help us in our composition process. On our composting process, they help us. So like the worms need like the smaller it is, the better it is for them to like eat on shit. What else? When I say mail, without the plastic sleeve. Newspaper is great. Cardboard, like nothing like plastic and shiny. And make sure you also take off the tape. And also hair, dust, pet fur, all that's fine too. All right, and then a few other things. Dead plants, so dead plants that aren't diseased. So none with like, if it's a plant that died because of a disease, don't put it in the compost. But if it's just like a plant that died, put it in the compost. Dry soil, sawdust, wood chips, good. Leaves, bomb as fuck, like, and easy, you know, especially like there's a lot of leaves on the ground right now. Hay and straw, and then like broken up twigs and branches. So yeah, all of this stuff that I've just named is compostable, which just like is amazing because like a lot of this is everyday stuff that we use or that we're going to use, that we have access to, and so like being able to like basically like recycle these stuff back to the earth is like fuck yeah, you know. So okay, So, what not to compost? Meat, animal fat, animal bones, none of that. Dairy of any kind. Seafood, nope. Grease or oils, please do not do that. And then plastic, metal, glass, throw that shit in the recycling, baby, not the compost, okay? Don't put any of this shit up in there, okay? It will contaminate it. It will stop decomposition. It will bring pests. Wow, that was like a lot. Let's do a little recap. So, 1, composting, the breakdown of nutrient-rich organic matter to then create nutrient-rich organic soil. Ooh, shit, I just kind of threw that out there. Benefits of compost: it is super sustainable. It benefits our mama earth. It's a waste reducer. It's great for the garden. So many more. The colors of compost: we have our green, we have our brown. Green is going to be our wet material, very nitrogen rich. Food scraps, grass clippings, things like that. Our brown is going to be our dry material, carbon rich, like leaves, cardboard, paper, shit like that. We want to have a nice consistency of them both so that we can get some really great soil. They both have to work together, and the conditions have to be good too. So those are the colors. Then I talked about what we can compost. So here's our list again. Boom, bada bang, boom, bada bang. And then what we can't compost. Here's our list again. Boom, bada bang, boom, bada bang. Alrighty. Okay, so now that we have a general idea about what we can compost, what it is, what it looks like, let's go outside so I can show you exactly what my method looks like, how I mix in the right amount of ingredients, and then I'll show you some like insurance things that I do to just like make sure shit stays away. Alrighty, so let's go outside.